All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Whitney Diver McAvoy. I'm the president and CEO of the Yountville Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our September 2023 webinar on AI and its impact on business, a non-technical exploration. We are joined today by our great friend, Andreas Muller-Schubert from WSI Next Gen Marketing, who we partner with quite a bit on our websites and digital marketing. And he's going to share a wonderful presentation with us all about AI. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Andreas. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining. It's an interesting topic. I think we all want to feel what's going to happen here. Maybe very brief introduction. WSI Next Gen Marketing. We are a marketing agency here in Napa, provide full service digital marketing services. And Whitney, thank you so much for being such a great partner. I think we started working over 5 years ago together and really enjoy what we have created together. Yeah, you might gonna ask yourself, why is a marketing company talking about AI? It's a very important area in all kinds of businesses, but and I'm going to show you some statistics later, marketing, sales, actually development or engineering, code writing are the areas that are forecasted to have the biggest impact created by AI. So for us as a marketing agency, it's very important to understand what AI can do for us and what we have to learn and adopt and to make us better. You have probably heard about all the news, and it's a big thing. I just was reading this morning that the Congress actually is going to have 5 sessions where some famous speakers are going to be on the Hill and explain AI and really educating also our legislators of what's going on, because it is a very big revolution. I call it a revolution. If you really think about it, what's going on, and they're going to have a couple of quotes of people in this presentation. It's going to change the way how we behave in the future. So let me start the presentation. You know, I want to give a quite quick sense what's going on. You know, we're hearing the noise about AI, even in the news. It's all over the place. I want to quickly explain what is AI, then how we can we avoid it. You know, is there anything to just not engage in AI? I want to show some use cases, and you know, also what should we do now? And maybe before I start, I want to share something, how this all came together. It's actually ChatGPT, what you see here. And you see, I will hold a webinar for 45 to 50 minutes. Give me an outline of the presentation. I had a nice chat and got answers, and I want to bring it down and all these kind of things. So it is very helpful if you think about what can be done. And this is just one of the use cases. And I will go deeper in some additional use cases during this presentation. But I just wanted to give you a feeling that, you know, we use it for idea generation and these kind of things. And I think one of the biggest positive things that we see is it helps us to create ideas. But it's very important to also be careful of what you get as answers. So let's dive in. Let's make sense of the noise. So I think we are living in very interesting times, and probably everyone agrees. And I think this is a very interesting quote. A revolution is seldomly recognized in its time. And you know, think about when the internet first started. We probably still have the modem noises in our head, and today we're watching a high definition TV using the internet. So from the very first moment to now, it's only 20 years ago. 20 years, and the way how we work, how we enjoy our life has significantly changed. And I was thinking, when we had COVID, thanks God we had the internet. 20 years before, we would all have used our phone and tried to run our business remotely. It would have had a much, much bigger impact without the internet. So just thinking about this, it's a revolution. And let's go back to the beginning. And I was actually watching a movie which inspired me this week, The Imitation Game. You can get it on Prime if you're a Prime member. And it talks about Alan Turing. And Alan Turing was an English mathematician. He lived between 1912 to 1954. And he was one of the top scientists in a very secret project that was going on to decrypt the Enigma system that Nazi Germany used to communicate with, submarines and all these kind of things. And what he did, or his group, was actually developing a system, and you see a little bit on the right-hand side, it's called a Turing machine. It's the first kind of general-purpose computer, and he is considered the godfather of computer science and artificial intelligence. And it's a very interesting movie. If you're interested, I'm very inspired. That's why I added the slide. It's a very interesting story about him. And what he also did in the 50s, he created a Turing test. He was convinced that machines can get smart enough that they can start to emulate what humans are doing. He did this in the 50s. And the Turing test today is used. You have someone communicating with a person or with several persons and with an AI system to test if the AI system can emulate a human and is not detected to be an AI system. And people say it's not officially approved, but people say that the Turing test was successfully passed very recently by some of the AI solutions. So very interesting story. I can only recommend. It's a very interesting movie, The Imitation Game, and it puts everything a little bit into perspective. But let's think about, AI, we use it every day. We might not know it. AI is around and in applications for decades now. In Spotify, Facebook, Gmail, YouTube. If you speak to Alexa, that's an AI system. Or if Apple is scanning even your face to open the phone, it's all around us. But what makes it so much different that we are now starting to say, this is a big thing? And something happened which is very important to think about. On November 30th last year, the world changed. And that is when ChatGPT was released. And if you think about ChatGPT, it's available for everyone. The big difference to the past, artificial intelligence and the data set that was used to drive Alexa or other things, are big companies. These are big companies that had the money and could run an AI system to do a better job with their solutions. This is a public available AI system which we all can use on our fingertip. And if you think about the adoption, it took 5 days since launch to get the first 1 million users. It's the fastest ever adopted service since today. And what this really is, it's a democratization of AI. We all have it suddenly available. We don't need to spend billions of dollars in data sets, in data analytics, in all. It's available to us. And that's why we are starting to speak about a revolution. And I give more and more examples during this presentation. But everyone, every one of us, suddenly has the power of one of the most advanced AI systems on our fingertip. What does this all mean? Couple of quotes here. 2 famous people, CEO of Google and Bill Gates, we all know him. They think this is so impactful, like electricity or fire or microchips and the internet. If these people are saying this will change the world, and I'm going to show you in the future in this presentation what these companies are doing, I think there's something behind here. So let's step back. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is the science of making machines smart. What Alan Turing was figuring out how to crack the code of the Enigma system, he used actually artificial intelligence or approaches to crack a code, I think that had 159 million different variances. Watch the movie. I was very impressed. But what is really important, we call a machine smart when it can determine its own pathway to achieve a goal. the machine is doing this. And this is the biggest difference if you think about traditional software versus smart software. Traditional software very strictly follows our rules and instructions, and it requires human labor to create the software or to work with the software. And it cannot get smarter on its own. Think about your website. If a page on your website is building, there's lines of code that are being built. Currently, we humans, and it's part of what we do every day building websites, we need to understand what the code is doing to get the website loading fast, make it beautiful. That is the traditional software. Artificial intelligence creates its own rules to achieve a goal. It determines its own path without humans. And it learns and improves by its own. No wonder why we have all the news coming up, all the lawsuits, all the things. Because this sounds great, but also a little bit of scary. Who controls what's going on? Who is driving that the goodness of AI is happening and not the bad side? What really struck me, I was listening to an interview of Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. OpenAI is behind ChatGPT. And what really struck me, he was talking about GPT-5 and what's coming and these kind of things. And he said one of the hardest things for them is to forecast when AI is able to do specific tasks. That's interesting. And he said, when we were working on ChatGPT 3.5 and we did all the learning, I talk about it, suddenly it started to understand Bulgarian. It was never planned to do it. So I want to compare a little bit artificial intelligence like a human growing up. We know that a young child at some time will start walking, but we don't know exactly when. We know that we will be able to speak, but we don't know when. Think about artificial intelligence and the development of artificial intelligence a little bit in a similar way. And this is why we have all the discussions about we need to control what's going on. We need to make sure that artificial intelligence is really bringing all the benefits and not the negative side. And one thing that has recently happened with all the lawsuits and the interventions, there's actually a lot of safety nets put around ChatGPT. You might have heard that Microsoft, I think, disconnected ChatGPT from Bing for legal reasons. But this is a very interesting area. And I sometimes think about, okay, now that we have different AI systems and you ask for an answer or you want to get an answer, I think it's like being in a discussion with a couple of friends. All of these friends have different backgrounds, different learnings, and you get different answers. And sometimes you say, no, this doesn't make sense. What my friend here on my right side saying makes more sense. Think about this when you talk or when you chat with an artificial intelligence system. Think about this way. You ask your friend ChatGPT and you get an answer. Ideally, and that's what we do, we asked our friend Bart from Google and we get a little bit of a different answer. And then we ask our friend from Claude number 2, which is just released, a very smart system, slightly different answer. So very important, and I think it's a very important rule if you think about artificial intelligence. You get answers, but you have to verify them. And you have to create your own opinion. And this is where the human touch is so important, that we judge what we got back, that we make it better, make it relevant, and be very careful with the answers. This is not, and you'll see it when you start something, the AI systems, they are not a legal advisor, not a medical advisor, because there is a big risk. Okay, how does it work? So if you think about artificial intelligence, how does it work? There's a very important element, it's a subset, is machine learning. Machine learning is a technology that teaches the machine to achieve goals and train itself to improve over time. So the machine is learning, there's neural networks, it's a very complicated, let's say, science of how this works, but it's continuously improving. So there's a lot of investment and work. And again, it started in the 1940s, when the first ideas came up from Alan Turing, and this was improved over time. So machine learning is a foundation. It's like, think about the brain. We have also in our brain very similar processes going on. And then deep learning, you hear about deep learning. Deep learning is when a machine learns to read, to write, to speak, to reason, to understand. So a subset of machine learning is deep learning, and you probably heard about LLMs, large language models. That is how you train different AI systems. For example, there's GPT-4 from OpenAI. There is Palm from Google, which is their AI system. There's Llama from Meta. So there's different AI system, and think about different children learning with different foundations. It's very important to think about this. This is not one set that is always used for everyone. There's different foundations, and each of the systems has some very different capabilities. And what we call generative AI, that can produce content on its own, like text, images, audio, code, and more. That's what, so I'm going to start to differentiate between artificial intelligence and what really is a revolution is a generative AI that is doing human-like tasks. And I think this is why we are all here to learn more or monitor very closely what's going on. And it's incredible how fast these systems learn. So what you see here is an example of exams, human exams, that you can do that you need to do in university. And you see the blue line is GPT 3.5, and the green is GPT 4. And what I highlighted here is the bar exam. And within 3.5 months, from GPT 3.5 to GPT 4, the bar exam was passed 10% to 90%. Just think about this. The system is learning. It's learning to walk. It's learning to speak. It's getting more information. It's getting better every day. This is another example. Midjourney is an AI tool to generate pictures. Mr. Bean, version 1, 2 to 5. How quickly this improved, and the system learned to create these pictures. These are pictures created by the system. These are not pictures taken from somewhere else. The system created them. Even more, image processing. The system understands what it sees in the picture and what are consequences. We humans know if you cut the string, what's happening. But now AI understands it and said the balloons would fly away. Looking at this picture, that's the status of what the AI systems do today. Just a couple of examples of generative AI, and some I will show you ChatGPT, Bard, and Claude. There's Midjourney or other image generator. There's note takers. You might have seen that Fireflies, my note taker, is actually in this meeting, taking notes and actions. I'm happy to share what was recorded by Fireflies. It's a very interesting app. We use it as a very efficient tool doing meetings. It automatically creates a list of action items, has a full transcript of what was discussed, does summaries automatically. You have an AI on top of it. You can search for specific areas, and you can even listen back what was exactly said. It's so much easier for us to get the notes out of meeting and be precise on follow-up actions. Coding Copilot You see it here? It's said that Copilot on the coding side will replace 5 coders with 1. Because coding is a very repetitive job. You need to get the code right. And when I talk about use cases, coding is one of the very easy use cases. That's why coding or developers are one of the areas that is heavily impacted by AI. You can go and get the code right now, and it's going to spill out the code. Again, now we are comparing the different children. I found this, Paul Corbett had this on, he published this on Twitter. I found this, there's creativity, how quickly responds, relevant, how accurate, how up to date, and what it costs. So this is ChatGPT, the 3.5 version, which is free. This is the plus. You have to pay $20 per month to have it. I use it and I show it later. Claude is free. Bard is from Google, and Bing is connected to ChatGPT 4. And you get a feeling about, are they quick, how accuracy, and the Claude is actually very, very interesting solution, which is not so much known, but it's very relevant, very accurate. And I always use Claude a little bit as a benchmark to ChatGPT. And there's another very important fact that we need to understand. These AI systems, their basic training is based on the data set they are trained on. So ChatGPT was trained on Wikipedia data, was trained on internet data up to the end of 21. So if you ask ChatGPT some very new relevant questions, you might get an answer, I don't know. If you ask ChatGPT plus Bing, you will get an answer. If you do a Bing chat, or you're going to use Bard, which is using the Google AI, but Bard is also connected to the Google search database. So it has up-to-date information. I asked ChatGPT, because we do search engine optimization, what are the impacts of specific Google algorithm update? It didn't know, because it said, I don't know what happened last week or so. Bard knows and Bing knows. So you have to think about what is it connected to. And there's one very interesting thing I wanted to show you, which we can all use. If you have the paid version of ChatGPT, there are plugins. And what these plugins enable is now the brain of ChatGPT, which is said to be one of the best AI systems from the brain power perspective, is now connected to the database of OpenTable or Instacart or other things. So now it can do, and I want to show you an example. Let me switch to ChatGPT to show it to you. So I'm going to use this window. Give me 1 second. Where's my mouse? So I'm in ChatGPT 4, as you see here. I'm paying $20 currently. This is where you see the different plugins. And there's a plugin store, and you can search. This is what is popular. If you look at all, there is 115 pages of 8 different plugins. So around 1,000 plugins that are available. You can only run 3 at the same time, and you're going to select what you have. So I have Expedia, Instacart, and OpenTable currently enabled. And let me show you something. So you can use ChatGPT. I'm planning a flight. I'm planning to fly to Frankfurt from SFO on 12/12/23. I'm not, but I just made it up. And let's push enter. Using Expedia. So it takes a moment, but I really want to show this because this is available to everyone who has paid, and there's hundreds of I'm going to stop generating. You get the idea. I can click on this link and can book this flight right now. Anyone hungry? Oh, you know what? This is relevant for Napa. I created one for Napa. Where's my mouse? Sorry, I'm juggling here a little bit. Let's create a new chat. No, it's the same. Oh, sorry. Didn't take it. I have to type it. Okay. I will be in Napa this weekend. Sorry for my typing. I love Italian food and want to make a reservation at 7 p.m. Sunday night. Is it okay? Kind of close. Okay. So I gotta stop again. It's get it. And you know, you can go back. No, I only want to see Napa. I want to see the top 3. And you can start the discussion and it's directly going into Open Table. And if I click here, I can make a reservation right now. So I think you get the idea. So plugins are a very important element to enhance the capability of ChatGPT. And you need to think about it. It's kind of a brain that was trained on billions of data, which is now accessing additional databases to get you a solution. There is something like called autopilot. You can have several questions and use several plugins in a way so you can really create a complete itinerary for a weekend trip, more or less on your fingertip. So it's really interesting. On the private side, Instacart, you can directly, I have one example for time reason, I'm not showing it, a chicken biryani recipe, and I want to order online all the ingredients. In a minute you have it. So very interesting area. And think about it also from a business perspective, that these kind of things, and I use SEO plugins and all kinds of other things to get information. So that really opens a very interesting world. So I think that's a good point. If you have any questions, maybe a couple of minutes open to answer some questions. Whitney, I'm not sure if you have something in the chat.
There are no questions in the chat currently, but if you'd like to ask a question, feel free to put it into the chat and I'll read it out to Andreas. No questions have come in.
Okay, let's go ahead. So.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
we do have one that just came in.
Okay.
Thoughts on using ChatGPT to write blogs for your website?
That is a very good question, and we are thinking about it all the time because it's part of the marketing job. So I think that ChatGPT is really good in helping to generate ideas about topics, and you can, evaluate also content that or elements of a blog you want to create and create an outline for a writer. You can also have paragraphs written by it, but I think it's very important that it's always being checked for accuracy. So that you need to check it. As I said, it's like talking to several people. You get different opinions. And as I said before, I would also ask the same kind of prompt maybe to different AI systems like Bart from Google or Claude to get a good input and then put your human touch on it. We use ChatGPT a lot for idea generation. that makes it so much easier for market research. So that definitely has a great element. And if we generate any content, it has to be improved by a human. There's also
follow-up question to that is, are you legally able to use their verbiage? Any copyright issues on that?
That's a very important question. I'm not a lawyer. So there's actually a couple of cases very active right now with OpenAI. So they got the first one, and it's really a big discussion is who owns the content. And I give you the ChatGPT example. It is trained on Wikipedia data and it's trained on internet data that are published. So who owns that is probably the publisher, but then it's also generated. What AI systems are not doing is they're not copying things. What we, in the past, we might have copied something when we wrote a thesis, or we used the input of a thesis and we had to give a reference. The problem with AI systems is today that you got very limited references. Where's the information from? And there's actually a new Google search function coming up, and I saw some videos about it. There was no relation back where the information might have come from that the AI system presented. So the question really from a legal perspective, it's unanswered. Who owns the content? The person who created something on the internet that might have been used in the answer, the creator of the AI system, or the person who asked the right prompt. So that's a big question. I cannot answer it. There's no definitive answer. That's why Congress goes to a deep education session, but it is something we need to be aware about. That's why I think it's very important to have the human factor on top of it.
Great. And just one more quick question from Frederick, and he asks, can you create isolated AI for databases, or is there a service out there to help with that?
Yes, there's actually plugins available that you can upload data and have AI analyze the data. So yes, it's one of the use cases where AI is really good. And I give you one example. AI is very successfully used in the medical area to detect cancer, even before it happens. If you take a scan that is done in the medical field, let's say about your lung or whatever is done, AI goes into the data set and detects changes in the cell structure before they become cancer. So AI is really good in detecting and analyzing huge data sets. And there's solutions available how you can upload information into AI system. I'm going to show you one example later, how a PDF can be used to make a summary and these kind of things, but that definitely exists. A very good use case.
Great. No more questions at this point.
Okay. Well, let's continue. So I hope you get an idea that generative AI is beyond just analyzing data, it's creating data. And it's actually going in a field that traditional we humans have done. That's, I think, why we all so alerted. What happens to us with AI? Is AI replacing us? And I think this is a good sentence. Google, and we Google all the time, is a search system. Generative AI is an answer system. What is very important, think about talking to your friends for different questions. You get different answers. We humans need to judge. Does the answer make sense? Is the answer what I expected based on my own experience? We have to be very careful. In Google, we got the list of all the different answers back, more or less the search result page, and then we go into the page and say, oh no, this doesn't apply. Oh yeah, this is a good answer. This is a good answer, and we formulate our own opinion about an answer that we could. Generative AI is taking a step ahead of this, but we need to ask, is the answer correct? Or is there another flavor of the answer? This is where the prompts are becoming so important. And I'm going to show you some prompts in a moment. What the opportunity is, now on our fingertip, we all have the smartest brains of AI available to us. So knowledge work, we can scale now. In the past, I'm not sure what you are doing, but you might have a good intern or an analyst. It's hard to find these people that can really make sense of a lot of data. Now we can scale this. We can ask the question to ChatGPT, to Bart, to other systems. We got different answers, and we can build our own opinion out of this. I think this is a huge opportunity, and specifically in areas where knowledge, where information input is so important to make the right conclusions. And this is where marketing is really one of the areas that has a huge opportunity. If you're in this area, there's a huge opportunity for us available. And it's already being baked into business tools. This is an example of HubSpot, Salesforce. Every day something new is being released, and there's generative AI. It's not AI alone, it's generative AI. All these systems already use AI a lot, but it's generative AI. It helps us to generate answers within the system itself. And this is a very important quote. This is the CEO of Microsoft. Microsoft is one of the biggest investors in OpenAI. I think they just put $10 billion into the company before ChatGPT was released, I think the week before. So their goal is to transform every industry in an AI-first industry. So one of the big ones, and Google is the other one, and Salesforce, everyone is investing in this because they see that it really makes business more effective, higher business of return, and it's a great opportunity. And Microsoft is starting to deliver it. You probably heard about Copilot, which is going to be baked in the complete Microsoft applications like PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, Word. Every one of these applications will have generative AI available, and they're rolling it out. And if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft has a base of 1 billion users. And this was announced on March 16th. 2 days before, Google announced it. We're going to put it in the whole Google workspace. It felt a little bit, wow, there's something big coming up for Microsoft. We need to announce something else. But Google just had a very big conference and really announced another leapfrog of what they're going to do. So we will have generative AI in all our tools we are using every day. And just a couple of days ago, ChatGPT announced ChatGPT Enterprise. You saw the free version, which is GPT 3.5. You saw GPT-4 that I was using. And now there is an enterprise version, no pricing yet available. But now for the enterprise, what was very important is data security, sharing prompts with co-workers, using my enterprise data that I have in a secure environment. Remember the plugins? The plugins used open table data to give me the reservation answer. Now you can plug in your enterprise data set into the enterprise ChatGPT. So now ChatGPT is your knowledge worker using your enterprise data. That's huge. And you can build your own applications. You can build your own data analytics tools. So that's announced. Any questions? I'm just quickly checking.
Great work, Andreas. This is so fascinating. No questions at this point in time.
Okay, then let's go into some use cases. I think everyone is excited. What is a use case? I think what's very important, think about your work. And Frederick, I liked your question with the data, because is it data-driven is one of the key applications that is available right now, and you can analyze data, ask the right questions, and these kind of things. Is it repetitive? It's another question. If you have to do things over and over and over again, I can automate these things. I can use AI to automate this. Is it predictive? Do I have to predict something, some market forecast, or do I have to predict some behaviors? That's a very interesting. I just use ChatGPT to do a deep market assessment, looking for a very specific target audience. I could find them down to the zip code. Just asking the right question, getting into the chat and asking the right question. And is it generative? Do I need some ideas? Do I need, the blog question is right on. I can generate a blog using it. Again, be careful, double check everything, but it's an AI use case. AI can be your creative assistant. Let's say you have a high-level creative employee and you can get some ideas. You can provide additional information. They get faster. They don't spend the time on searching for data. They have it on the fingertip. They can get much, much more specific and faster. And there's a big emergence of industry specific creative assistants for lawyers, for marketing. There's a lot of tools coming out that are specifically trained for these industries to make the smart people smarter, to make them faster, that they spend the time in the creativity and not in doing some searches to be able to come to the right answer. A huge opportunity. AI for business automation. I think we all know that it's already used in a lot of activities and advertising and all kinds of things. There's already AI baked in, but this is actually a very low-hanging fruit for work in your office. And think about, again, Copilot is coming. Google will bake it into their systems. Now you have AI that can help you to highly automate or to automate highly repetitive work that you are doing. Prediction forecasting. I gave you the example where I was searching. You can use AI very easy to do some forecasting. It assesses data. You can use your own data. Maybe you have a big set of Google Analytics data and you want to know, okay, if I do scenario A or B, what would be the outcome? There's applications and plugins where you can use AI to help you on this. And AI is a digital experience. It's already there. But I'm not sure. I bought glasses and had this AI system showing me how the glasses would look like on my face. And I selected the ones and got them, and it was completely augmented reality. That's another serious opportunity that we have. Again, this capability is on your fingertip. We just need to be creative enough to have AI do this. AI is waiting for our input to create something amazing. And what is really very important, I'll show you in a moment, we're actually coming down to the prompts pretty soon. And the prompts, that is your input into an AI system to get a smart answer back. Prompt engineers are currently the highest sought after jobs. If you are good prompt engineers, you got way into the $200,000 plus annual income. I saw a job posting for a job that was $1 million for someone who's running a prompt engineering team. This is, think about it. You might have had these meetings with your bosses or the CEO or CFO, you present something, and then you suddenly got this question, this one question. You say, wow, I should have thought about this. This is so good. How do I answer this question? These are the questions we have to ask the AI system to get the right answers back. Another very interesting use case, sorry, I was getting a little bit off script here. This is just a statistics that Twilio, they do a personalization report, and they said 62% of consumers say a brand will lose their loyalty if it delivers an unpersonalized experience. How many of you get emails or advertising, you just bought a product with a brand and they're still going to hammer you, you should buy something, come back and buy, I just bought it, just take me off the list. That's an unpersonalized experience. Or you might, let's say about a wine example, I might be a white wine lover. I don't need information about red wine. Some personalization use cases for retail, recommend the products, upsells or cross-sells based on users' past interactions. So the system can know what I did, what kind of products I looked at, and that's what's going to be recommended. By the way, TV is doing this in a big way. Netflix and others, they know what we do. Facebook knows how long we look at the post. This is all served back to us. You can increase the order value by promoting items. Personalized search results and recommendations based on your history. Travel and hospitality. We might going to serve up relevant photos and reviews just before you book to make people book it. Or we might going to have dynamic content being shown to you based on your past behavior. And the best example, I can look at Amazon, what Amazon is showing you on your homepage, or look what Netflix is showing you. Everyone's homepage looks completely different. It's based on our behavior. Okay, finally, we got to the prompts. As I said, prompts is our way to interact with the AI system. We need to tell the AI systems what we want to get a high quality answer back, okay? And it's good to tell the AI system, who are you? What is your role? And your role in a moment might be, I'm a financial analyst. I have a question. I need a tax answer. I have a question. I'm a marketer. I need to tell the system, what is my role for this question? And then is a task, create a headline, make a book outline, give me some information how this webinar should look like, what I used. And then what kind of format do you like to get the answer back? Is it a table, a list? Maybe it's code that I want to have back. Important, fact checking. I think we all heard about that AI can make up stuff. I give you one example. I asked AI a very specific question about the pages on the website. Give me the pages on the website. And AI made up some pages that didn't exist. Because typically they exist, but not in this case. So there's some real cases. And, AI is saying this or giving it back with authority. You probably know some of your friends that say something to you with authority that's a given. And then you think back, no, this is not a given. Be careful here. This is very important to be really careful on this side. It has to be fact-checked. Couple of examples. Act as a customer service professional that works for, type of company, and to provide a response to the following feedback in a tone. And here, an example could be a review, an online review that you got. So example, act as a customer service professional that works at the boutique hotel and provide a response to the following feedback in an empathetic tone, and insert the review. So if you got online reviews and you don't know what to do with them, that is a way. It can give you an idea what to do, and it can give you a feedback, an answer, modify it a little bit so that it really fits, but that's an idea. And that's a great use case. Sometimes you might get a 1-star review here and there. They happen. These are the worst thing to answer. And how do I start this? That could be a starting point. Brainstorming. Can you give me ideas for format, about subjects, perhaps covering topic? So can you give me ideas for a webinar about fitness, perhaps covering topics like workout routines, nutrition, and rest and recovery? Remember my webinar, what you're listening to right now? That's what you can use. So brainstorming ideas. Interview questions. What are good interview questions to ask for a position you hire for about? I think you get the idea. Very good use case. Producing executive summaries. And that's an example where you need the ChatGPT plugin. And you saw it working with OpenTable and Expedia. I showed you. There's a plugin. There's several plugins. Ask Your PDF, for example. When you have here Ask Your PDF plugin active, can you create an executive summary for the following document? Link to the document. Here's an example of a HubSpot PDF. Quickly generates a summary. Any questions?
No questions at this time.
Okay, I'm looking at the time, so we have some. So I hope you agree that AI is here. I hope I could show some good use cases. And how do we get started? Just a couple of pointers here for marketers like myself, our team. There's actually the Marketing AI Institute, which is a really good go-to to get there really on the pulse of AI. And they just had a survey running between April and July, got about 1,000 respondents, and how important people think AI is going to be for their marketing job. Very impressive responses. And another level, what are people saying are their top time savers or value creation? Reduce time spent on repetitive data-driven tasks, 77%. Unlock greater value for marketing technologies or from marketing technologies. Generate greater ROI in campaigns, accelerate revenue growth. So this is what these people in the interview gave back as a feedback. I have one more. McKinsey. McKinsey is very active, and McKinsey, I can only recommend look at this if you're looking at business, the impact. McKinsey and specifically marketing and sales. There's a very good report. I have a link here. A very good report about impact of AI on different industries. They have a really good high-level overview. But what these people said, and these are the top companies worldwide, lead identification, real-time based on customer trends, marketing optimization, A/B testing, SEO. It's a very important service for us. Personalized outreach, chatbot, virtual. This is what these people said is very important and what they're investing in. Okay, what should we do? It's time to act. You cannot wait. I know it's a very early market. It's a revolution out there. It's going to change the way how we work. It's going to significantly change the way how we work, especially if you are in kind of an office capability, if you're marketing and sales, customer service, coders, huge implications. But positive. Understand the implications. And yes, there is a risk, but there's a huge opportunity. And to identify, we have done it with our own team. Start forming AI work groups. Look for use cases. Look for pilot projects. Start using it. One thing that we, for example, do every Friday, we have a morning where we have maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we ask every team member, how did you use AI this week? And there's some really interesting use cases. I have no idea what people are doing. And now we have a database where these use cases are coming together using ChatGPT or Bard, and people give feedback what kind of systems works better. That's simple to implement. Very important. I hope I said it enough during this webinar. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this webinar, check 100% of the output. It's not God-given. It's not per default correct. You have to check this. Be accountable. And you have to establish your own belief system around AI. How does your company feel about it? How does your company works about it? And you have to publish this. Our clients are asking, are you using AI? is what I'm getting from you created by AI. Whitney was one of them. Are you using it? How are you using it? What are you doing? And I think we have been very transparent what we are doing. And we have an AI policy. And one giveaway I want to give you is if you scan this QR code, there's an AI principle template that you can download from our website. You can modify, and I'm going to show you how it works in a second. You can modify your input because it needs your core values, your company, your industry, but it generates a principle, AI principle. You can start thinking, reading, modifying, and then you have something in your head. So if you want to scan this, and we're going to distribute the slide set, that's one of the ways where you can get a start. And I want to show you quickly how it works. Let me go back here, start a new chat. And it's a very long prompt. Let me see if I need to capture it. It's about a page-long prompt. I hope it took it. So we want to create a listing of AI principles. These are our core values. This is our company name where we work. And then I asked them 8 to 10 AI principles based on the following themes below. And then you have human-centric, human accountability. You get the idea. You go to the page, you get the whole prompt that you can create, and then you let it generate. And use all 3 systems. You get different answers. It's still working, but here it is. Here it comes. I let it run because I think those chapters are pretty interesting to think about. That's a starting point that you now can read, can massage, so it's 100% fits to you, but it covers what the industry thinks are the most important points that an AI policy should cover. And as I said, use this QR code. It brings it to the landing page, and you can download it and make it yours by putting a little bit of your company information in there. Any questions?
Oh, Andreas, this was so good and so informative. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and invite folks to either type your question into the chat, or if you'd like to unmute yourself. I know we're a little bit over time, but I think it was worth it. The information was spectacular. Are there any questions out there that you'd like to ask Andreas today? Okay, I have a question, Andreas. If we're fascinated by this or don't know where to start, can we call you to talk it through?
Yes, I'm very happy to be available. And I didn't mention this, WSI in our network, we work a lot on the AI because it has a major impact on our own job, and we want to get the goodness. So we are very active, and there's going to be more webinars being available, more information. The landing page, when you download the AI principle document, has also, you can book a meeting with me, just use a link and it books a meeting automatically. We also have a couple of links with information, and we are planning to create a page with more information that we are happy to share. So please feel free to reach out anytime.
Wonderful, Andreas. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. It was absolutely fantastic. And I'll go ahead and include Andreas's contact information with follow-up email, which I will include the link to this on our YouTube channel, as well as the slides and the PowerPoint. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today. It was great to be with you.
Thank you.